All right. Is the mic on? I think so. Hope so. Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is Hala Pablo. Bitcoin's moving. Bitcoin's in the news. Let's look at Bitcoin. Real short and sweet. So, what we talked about. So, it looks like we got rejected off the midpoint. The zero point 0.5 Fibonacci on the macro scale here. I've got this, let's see, I've got the top on the daily and the bottom on the 15-minute. So, we have fractal ranges here. This top here, I'd long ago already distinguished this area here as a clear Wyckoff distribution. It was just unclear as far as if we're going to have a UTAD at the very end. Like usually we see like UTADs, which typify the ends of these distributions, which are essentially they're bull traps. And so informed interest, professional interest they're selling into the pump at this point. A lot of them have already vacated their positions, and they used good news or something like that as a catalyst to pump the price right at the end to squeeze the last bit of FOMO juice out of it as much as possible, get retail to jump in, expecting to keep going up, and then they pull the floor out. And then retail's left holding the bag. That's essentially a UTAD. So it's already been predetermined that they're going to dump. It's just they use reverse psychology on the market. So I was kind of expecting that with this top here. And we still may get it. I mean, if you do an Elliott, this is clearly a 4. Here's the 2, the 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a deep 4 as far as Elliott wave goes, Elliott wave theory. And this would propel the 5 somewhere way up here. I don't think the 5, even a truncated 5, I don't think is going to hit 86,000. But I've been wrong before with Bitcoin. It's so treacherous. You never know what it's going to do. And so, I'm not counting that out, but I am saying it seems a bit unlikely that it's going to do that. What I see instead is a clear rejection off midpoint. If we go down here to the 15-minute now, we got this clear rejection. Like I was talking to my group earlier this morning before it dumped. I was looking at these demand tests here. You see these above average demand volume spikes. That predominantly we see supply throughout the latter half of this range here, and we see the spread widening. So supply predominance plus widening spread usually equals distribution, regardless of how high these upthrusts go. So seeing that, and then these larger than average volume spikes in demand, not really propelling the price. We still get a failure to rally at this area here, and then it brings it back down swiftly. That was a good clue that Bitcoin's showing major signs of weakness. And then this last one that we saw today, I guess it came. Well, it's the 15 minutes, so this is earlier today, the 23rd. We had this larger than average. It's almost like an ultra high demand volume spike, and it didn't do anything as far as propelling the price. So we saw a lot of effort, but very, very little result. And so that's a divergence. That's a transgression of one of the very important Wyckoff rules. So if the effort should equal the result, they should be congruent. And in this case, clearly it's not. And so and then it wasn't long after where the price just dropped. So I drew out the Fibonacci retracements to see how deep we can go in this. We could certainly go deeper, or we may not go any deeper at all. We see that we've mitigated this major sign of weakness here, which is what I drew the Fibonacci ratios off. Incidentally, this upthrust after distribution, presumably this high point here at 68, and then this low point here where we currently sit at about 65.9. And so that's where I based the Fibonacci retracements off of, and that made midpoint right where we talked about in my last video, where the ice line was, where if we were considering this to be an area, if this is a true distribution, a last point of supply. And remember, I said if we get rejected off this area here, then we may be in for it at that point. We may be in for a whole scale distribution. And sure enough, that's what happened. We had a major rejection off that on huge demand, and we still got rejected. So that's not a good sign for the long term. So it brought us back down to the 1. This would be the 1 fib. This is the 0.5 fib here. So it brought us back down to the 1, and then based off the Fibonacci ratios that I've been drawing, our next step down, the 1.272, would take us somewhere around 65.1. So if we continue to drop, if you're wanting a dollar cost average or buy in incrementally, if we make it down this far, it may not be a bad place to, just kind of scale in if you're wanting to momentum trade this. I don't know how deep it's going to go. I don't think it's going to go too deep right now. I think we're going to have some bouncing around. It's basically a liquidity game right now for the market makers. So that would be a good place. And then obviously the 618, which is 64.5. This is the immediate areas that I could see if this thing turns into a head and shoulders. We may stop here and then continue on our journey downward to the 1.618 Fibonacci retracement level. And that would be an area where short term, if you wanted to buy in, if you're into that sort of thing, day trading or even like position trading, that might be a good, or like swing trading, basically what we do. I'm not in this right now. I'm not messing around with Bitcoin right now because I think we're on the heels of a major distribution. It's just a matter of time. Now, that's not to say we can come back up. And, because Bitcoin has done that before. It's very treacherous. It's very dangerous. Bitcoin very often bucks the trend. So it often doesn't follow traditional distribution accumulation patterns. It'll often go the opposite way. Bitcoin's crazy, man. So I would not be surprised if we suddenly had a pump and then we began to, in effect, get into this 5 wave. It would be odd. It would be it would definitely be bizarre, but you know what? I wouldn't be surprised. Again, I don't think the 5 is going to take us all the way up to 86. It may go into the mid 80s, but then surely after that will be a true dyed in the wool grade A UTAD. And I don't see us going much higher after that. At some point, the market makers have to take considerable profit, and we haven't really taken profit yet since this bull run that we had starting back in November of 22, which I thought was a counter trend, but then it went all the way up and it surpassed the buying climax on this macro that we had back in April 21. So it went even further up, and it peaked out at this upthrust here. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we just kept going up and then had a distribution from there. But at some point, like I said, market makers have to take profit. That's why they're in this. And all this here, this bull run is still unanswered for. Okay, at some point you got to pay the piper, and they're going to want to take profit because a lot of them have been holding from the 20s and 30s and 40s, and it would be just like them to, on some good news maybe with Trump or the elections or whatever, to use the news as a good news catalyst. And of course, retail buys the news, and they would buy it, and that would set up a really good liquidity grab for these guys who have been looking to get out, somewhere, who need to get out so that they can go ahead and after it drops. And I don't know how far it can drop, to the 40s, maybe 30s even. We'll have to do the Fibonacci's on the macro, but so the liquidity that they generated up here, they would use to buy back in down here wherever this support line would be, and then from there we'll have the commencement of the actual serious bull market of 2025, maybe 2026. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, there's so much uncertainty going on right now in the world globally, and so I don't have a crystal ball, guys. Sorry, but this is the best I can do. But I saw this coming, this sell off today. So the way it looks is we're going to keep. I don't see it stabilizing. It may be stabilizing, but if I see anything that comes up that's noteworthy, I'll leave a message. I'll upload a video when I get a chance. Of course, I let my group know everything first, my paid group on Discord. But then when I have a chance, I'll kind of update you guys, notify as I can on YouTube. All right, if you got anything out of this, I told you to be short and sweet. If you got anything out of this, like, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Let me know what you think. And it's okay if you disagree. I'm fine with that. I've been wrong before, but I've also been right a lot more than I've been wrong. So we'll see how it goes. So anyway, guys, not financial advice. Please be safe and have a great day. And we'll talk to you later. Adios.